So, what do you guys want to talk about?
You can call this the New World Order of Wrestling, brother. Put out the caution tape. Put out the orange cones. Acknowledge me.
It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. I am Boris Roberto Aguilar, and you are listening to Canada's newest wrestling radio show, A+ Wrestling. A+ Wrestling would not be possible without amazing tag team partners like Teal Boat Tours. That's Teal Boat Tours, Ontario's premier boat tour experience where adventure meets relaxation on the stunning waters of Canada's most beautiful lakes and rivers in Ontario. For booking and more information, all you need to do is go to toboattours.com. This show is part of the A+ Productions and A+ Wrestling Podcast Network, and now we are part of the KPHR family. That's Cat Power Hit Radio. And well, we try to be more than just a wrestling show, and we try to have a slew of shows where we talk all things sports, entertainment, and we bring it all together to talk some sports entertainment, also known as wrestling. You can find us on any podcasting platform as A+ Productions, but if you really only want to listen to the wrestling shows, you can find us on any podcasting platform as A+ Wrestling. We can even be found online at aplusproductions.com, and we're on all of the social medias, and the handle is at A+ Productions. We want you to be part of the conversation, and the best place for that is the Facebook group. For that, all you need to do is go to facebook.com and search for A+ Productions. What a week it has been. What a weekend it has been. The highs and the lows, the goods and the bads and the uglies. The uglies quite possibly overshadowing anything good that happened over the past 72 hours. And with me to talk about all of that is my longtime tag team partner. That is Matthew Ederer. Matt, where do we even start?
What's up, buddy? How you doing today? On the plus side, well, actually, please answer that question first. How are you? How are you holding up, Big Obi?
I don't know. I really don't know. This episode. So first off, we were supposed to be on 2 hours. We're only going to be on 1 hour. It is still going to be commercial free. But honestly, Matt, I don't think WWE deserves 2 hours of promotion from us at this point.
Oh, man. Yeah. Well, on the plus side, King of the Hill came back. Hank and Bobby and the gang, Peggy Hill, Boomhauer, they came back. They returned. On the minus side, in the negative column, Brock Lesnar and Donald Trump both returned to WWE TV over the weekend. So yeah, lots to discuss. We don't want to get too far on the soapbox. I believe in Mark Maron's most recent special, he said in a very funny and pointed line that the left annoyed people into fascism. And that's not what I want to do on this program, Boris. But yeah, it's just sad to see Brock Lesnar back on WWE TV. It's sad to see them going full MAGA shill. Not surprising if you've seen a UFC event in the last 18 months, but it's just a lot. It's just a lot to take. So I mean, I'm pretty much done talking about that topic. Please take the floor. Say what you want to say. If you'd like to hear more of my thoughts, you can reach out to me. I'm not hard to find. But yeah, it sucks. Takes the wind out of your sails as a WWE fan, big time. I might be done watching WWE for a little bit, but I'm glad to be here with you on this podcast talking about SummerSlam, which other than some, glaring red flags, was a pretty decent little wrestling program.
But that's the problem at this point, right? It just gets to me that, I don't even know where to start, my friend. It's so hard for me. It is so hard for me to put into words over the past 24 hours. I've honestly just been thinking, and I've gone through a lot of emotions, and that's what gets to me. Why is wrestling giving me all these emotions? Wrestling is supposed to be entertainment. But we live in a time where everything becomes political. Whether you want to admit it or not, everything in some shape, way, or form has a political undertone. And with the whole WWE stuff and TKO stuff, right? Like, let's be honest here, right? TKO, we know where they stand. For the most part, WWE was kind of shielding themselves from that. But the more I thought about things and my own personal experiences, and I'm going to be very careful what I say, so that I do have money to afford to continue doing this show. It's I'm finding that a lot of companies in a certain country in this world are bending the knee.
Yeah.
They are bending the knee, and they are going with it. Right, and we've seen this in the past, but it's in that we're at that, like, even last week's show we talked about this. Right, we're in a crucial point in our history, and I'm not trying to draw lines. I respect people regardless of your opinion. I might think your opinion is trash, but I'm gonna go with it. But I honestly just feel like this is corporate America at this point, and many companies in corporate America I've seen personally that have nothing to do with entertainment are bending the knee on policy. The closer you are to the administration, the more you're going to see the administration's influence. And that's the reality of where we are with WWE at this point. It should be of no surprise to anyone. And let me say this, Matt. A lot of people want to wash away, like, hey, but the performers are this, the performers are that. Here's something that I've learned over the past 18 months or so. There are a lot of influencers, there are a lot of podcasters, there are a lot of actors and entertainers in general who you would be surprised on their political leaning, and the only reason they don't go flat out and say where they are is because they know the backlash that they are going to get. But that is the world that we live in. And again, I don't want to get too deep into that. I know I'm getting a little deeper than I wanted to, but I need to vent a little bit. Having said that, I blame no one for what they want to do. Fandoms are fandoms. Whether you want to continue watching WWE or not, I respect your decision, because we as human beings need to just effing be nicer to each other. What is so hard about hearing another person's opinion and just accepting it or ignoring it or whatever? You don't have to act on it all the time. But over the past 24 hours, I've seen just things just devolve into madness, devolve into hate. I just don't get it, man. Do you. You do you. However you want to spend your free time, spend it like that. But do not criticize others of their opinion, whether it's the same or different to yours. People are entitled to their own opinion. If you feel that WWE is a devil of the company and you want to stop watching, I 100% respect that. If you feel that people are taking this too far and virtue signaling or whatever, then I respect your opinion. I don't agree with it, but I respect it. That's kind of where we're at. Let's just be human about this. You watch whatever you want. You do whatever you do. And here at A+ Productions and A+ Wrestling, we're going to try to entertain you regardless. We might talk a little less WWE. We might talk the same amount. I don't know right now. But at the end of the day, this is just supposed to be for entertainment, people. Give me my time to entertain myself, talking into a mic, saying some stupid jokes to my buddy Matt. Right? Like,
Love it.
I just don't get why we need to be assholes to each other.
I mean, sometimes you get bogged down in the weeds. I get bogged down in the weeds, but one thing that bugs me is hypocrisy, like someone calling someone else toxic when they are just constantly negative and constantly toxic. Like, we have a very good fan base here. I would say probably only literally one person sticks out in my mind as obviously toxic, and I would be happy if they stopped listening and posting on our boards. But other than that, I think for the most part, I love and cherish all of our fans, and I really do I don't know. Everywhere you look, every person you talk to, every subreddit, every conversation anywhere on or offline devolves into this. So it's just it sucks when you're in that weed. But sadly, Boris, as something breaks on my desk, we are living in a very politicized time, man, and it's hard to ignore all the time. So anyway, Yeah, like sometimes it comes up, and when WWE is tweeting out and repeatedly 4 or 5 times over a weekend referring to like the man in charge of WWE being with the man in charge of the United States in the White House, it's like, well, it's a little hard to ignore. But for now, let's talk about SummerSlam, the 13 matches with a cash in that we got on SummerSlam weekend. Some great, some bad, some in the middle. We'll talk about this, give you a little opinion, and send you on your way. Thank you very much for listening to A Plus Wrestling, 99.999% of you.
God damn, Matt. I love it. Yeah, that's the thing. We're going to try to keep doing our thing. We're going to try to throw in our brouhahas as we drink some brews and we have some ha-has. That's what we do here on A Plus Wrestling. And I will make this promise, not only to you, Matt, but to all of the listeners. We will continue to do this as long as this is fun for all of us. And, well, yeah, we're going to try to keep it fun. Even in the shittiest of times, we will try to keep it fun and light. Because, by God, Matt, this world, you just need a little more fun. All right, let's talk WWE SummerSlam, MetLife Stadium. Something I wanted to talk to you about. A couple points I wanted to make off the top. And, again, I'm not trying to get in the soapbox, but you can fill in the blanks. Couple things. Point number 1, WWE pre-WrestleMania 40 and post-WrestleMania 40 feels like 2 completely different companies. Right now, I'm only talking about the creative. I don't really want to bring up the other stuff. But creatively, I feel like post-WrestleMania 40, things it hasn't felt right. It's felt weird.
I agree, and I feel like this was a little bit of a righting of the ship creatively, just like John Cena, whose heart it didn't seem like was ever in his heel turn. The explanation for why he turned heel was spotty, and then the catalyst, The Rock in kayfabe, the kayfabe catalyst, and possibly in real life, if the show WWE Unreal is to be believed, the person who made it happen went away immediately and never, talked about it or showed up again. So just in terms of that John Cena pivot, that felt right to me. There are certain things that we saw coming. John Pollock, friend of the program, saw coming. Actually, I don't know if he knows the program exists, but we're friends to John Pollock. Yeah, I'm sure he does.
He knows us.
But yeah, no, it's just, yeah, I'm sure he does. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Creatively, I feel like they're kind of steering the ship back on the tracks, back on the correct path. I don't know what the water tracks. That's not a thing. But you know what? Like for every good decision they made, there was still a jelly roll match.
Hey,
there was still like
no, do not talk ill will of the big boned.
Boris, we are Husky Harrises ourselves on this podcast. We don't mean I'm not talking ill of Jelly Roll because of his size. At least Logan Paul splashed him through a table, and what was an incredible highlight. But yeah, creatively, I actually thought these 2 shows were pretty much what they needed to be. Actually, the first match on the first night is the one creative decision that I most disagree with. So let's get into that.
Agreed. We'll talk about that. Okay, so that's point number 1. Point number 2, SummerSlam, 2-night event. We can all understand why WrestleMania needs to be 2 nights, right? Whatever. I've accepted that. But, arguably, even the second biggest show of the year, I still consider SummerSlam the number 2 pay-per-view from WWE. Other people might differ, but SummerSlam being 2 nights, I don't know, man. It just felt weird. It felt off. It just felt like a revenue-generating machine, which, again, I get it. That's the world that we live in now. But it felt not right.
Yeah, it's going to be weird skipping Royal Rumble and skipping SummerSlam and stuff. But, like, if you're generally the average person has the appetite to maybe watch, 1 or 2 wrestling shows max a year, and that's WrestleMania. That's 2 shows now. If you're up at 3 or 4 with the Royal Rumble, that's one thing. But now if you're going to go Money in the Bank and Survivor Series and SummerSlam are all going to be 2 nights, which they're talking about now, that's like you're asking your very basic, super casual fan to invest 10 nights a year on this. That might be a lot. That alone is a big ask. And yeah, but it's the world. It's like you said, the oversaturation of everything. If something hits, then it floods the market forever. And that's like wrestling's been like that ever since going back to the weekly shows, like even weekly like WWF Raw in 1993, and then they added SmackDown, and they still had all the B shows and whatever. Anyway, It's a lot. It's a big ask of your fans. I don't think SummerSlam needed to be 2 nights, and I don't think it will ever be 1 night again. It's here now, and this is what we have to deal with.
Absolutely.
And it's coming for Money in the Bank. It's coming for Royal Rumble. It's coming for Survivor Series. All those things are going to be 2 nights before long.
Here's my thing. Yeah, it can be 2 nights, but this felt like one long PLE split into 2. What I think made WrestleMania 40 work was that they had a story that went through both nights with The Rock, Cody, and everyone, Seth and everyone. I think that the fact that there was a story reason, not a story reason, but like a story that went through both nights really kept the interest high for you to watch both nights. And I hope that WWE creatively explores something more like that moving forward. Like, what if they have like a mini tournament where you have the semifinals on the Saturday and then the finals on the Sunday, where, the number one contender match goes on the Saturday and the champion has to also wrestle on the Saturday, and on the Sunday you get the winners of both matches, right? Stuff like that, I feel like we should try to explore a little more, because that will keep the interest in a weekend-long show.
It's a really great call. I 100% agree with that. It did help WrestleMania flow better. It felt more like a story with a concise beginning, middle, and end, and a climax, and the whole thing. This did feel like it should have been one long show with a couple matches just cut from it. And yeah, no, I totally agree with that. That's a very interesting, that provides them a new challenge, but with all the writers, all the talent, I feel like that is something that is achievable. It's just a matter of taking the care and the effort to do that. But that's a great call, buddy. I hope they do more of that in the future.
All right, let us talk WWE SummerSlam from Yeet, Jersey, as Cole called it. I feel betrayed by even saying that. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed with Paul Heyman kicked off the show. Bronson Reed, over the past 8 days, he may have become one of my favorite Raw acts with stealing a man's shoes.
Yes, the Shula Fala, as apparently Bronson Reed himself coined, and they mentioned a number of times on the broadcast. That was the highlight of the weekend, the Shula Fala. Bronson Reed beating up Roman Reigns, stealing his shoes, and parading them around for all to see. So yeah, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are defeated in this match by Jey and Roman. I think the wrong guys won. I think the only major booking difference that I would have, other than not bringing Brock Lesnar back, of course, is I would have probably Bronson Reed pin one of these guys. Maybe you could talk me into Braun Breaker pinning Roman Reigns, but with how cool Bronson was, I think he could have used the rub. Either way, one of these two young guys should have defeated one of the two older dudes, in my opinion. What do you think, big homie?
We both of us said this on the preview show last week, where we both felt that Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker should win. What now with these four? Is this story over? Because if this story continues, are the heels gonna ultimately win? To me, this felt weird. What's next for all four of these guys at this point? It kind of feels like an abrupt end, having such a non-controversial, very matter-of-fact type of ending to this match. Again, typical tag team match, nothing crazy, nothing to really write home about in this match. This match was good in that sense, but creatively, very weird result. I think they chose these guys to go out, get the pop, get the crowd. It was nice to see Roman Reigns, a huge main eventer in the history of WWE, start off night one of a big PLE. But yeah, I feel like this match would have been better served down the card and having the young heels win, so they still had something to chase after, still had something to drive towards. Roman and Uso did. I would have started the show with either Charlotte and Alexa, or honestly, your boy the Jelly Roll and Randy Orton making those big babyface appearances. That's what I would have done. But yeah, this was a good tag team match. In terms of a tag team match in the ring, this was a better match than the women's tag team title or the Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul versus Jelly Roll, Randy Orton matches that I just referenced. This was a better match, but
I didn't like the result, and it kind of took me out of it a little bit. 21 minutes. Maybe this match was a little long in the tooth as well, but you know what? Braun Breaker's athleticism is it's breathtaking. The guy's crazy. Bronson Reed, great wrestler. Roman Reigns, great wrestler. Jey Uso, also there. And
good wrestler.
I thought, he's getting there. This was all right. This was all right. Maybe a little too long, but yeah, at the end of the day, it wasn't bad. I think the wrong guys won, though. Clearly the wrong guys won.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. All right, the next match is many people's right hand's worst nightmare. That is for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. The Judgment Days, Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. Matt, number one, we're not even going to discuss that joke. Number two, the character rehab that they've done on Charlotte Flair is amazing. And here's the thing. A lot of people want to blame Charlotte Flair because as if she has full creative control of when she gets a title shot. You know, it's like you're blaming the person for being given opportunities. Come on, grow up, people. But I love the fact that they're able to keep Charlotte Flair in a prominent position without it being a main title at this point.
Yes, exactly right. When we're talking about good creative, good storytelling on these two nights, Charlotte Flair's rehab is part of that for sure. They've done an excellent job building Charlotte back up into being an organic babyface that the crowd wants to cheer for. I like this Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. We're not friends, but we're actually friends deep down situation. Raquel and Roxanne, I don't know. They're a good tag team too, but that story's on the back burner. That story's just bubbling up until Liv Morgan is physically cleared and gets like a storyline reason to come back. Perhaps Roxanne is cozying up to Dom more and more and more and crosses a line there that she has yet to cross. That's kind of just on the back burner for now. So I like the pivot to Alexa and Charlotte. I thought this was a good, not great match. Roxanne Perez, we've been saying since the first day we saw her in Ring of Honor, this is a future star, and she's becoming a star in front of our eyes. She, I think, at this moment, is a better in-ring technician than Charlotte Flair. Am I crazy in saying that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all, right? I think that just from a wrestling point of view, I think that Roxanne Perez has stuff that Flair just doesn't. And I give Flair full credits, but I think Roxanne Perez just is that talented, and she is going to have an incredible career, not only in ring, but man, this is someone who went from having as much personality as the white paint on our ceilings to having just being hilarious on screen and amazing on screen.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's really working on her charisma and becoming more comfortable. She might be like a better technician, but Charlotte Flair smokes her in terms of charisma, in terms of probably promo ability at this point, in terms of just aura, riz, as the kids say. Charlotte's got it in spades. But yeah, Roxanne is figuring that part of the game out, and it is a treat to see in front of our eyes. Yes, they kind of do a tease at the end of this match where Alexa Bliss has Roxanne primed for her finisher. Charlotte is shown in the background saying, "Oh, no, you don't." But she was actually saying that to Raquel Rodriguez, who she hit with a big boot. Alexa Bliss pins Roxanne Perez. We have new tag team champions, and the crowd goes wild, Boris. I like this. We're 2 for 2 right now on SummerSlam.
Yep. All right, the next match. Well, before that, we had a Papa John's commercial. Made me want a slice of Papa John's. Not sponsored, so that's all we're going to be talking about. Sami Zayn.
No free plugs.
Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross with Scarlett. Interesting match. Matt, what's your take? Like, okay, beside the actual, was this match good or not? What's your take on what's coming next?
Yeah, the talk around the internets, which, as you know, is never wrong. Boris,
never wrong and always positive.
Always level-headed and well thought out. No, the talk is Karrion Kross is leaving WWE. I don't know. I kind of hope not, but he has left something to be desired in his WWE career. I think there's a world where Karrion Kross is like an upper mid-card main event kind of wrestler that hasn't quite worked out yet in WWE, but It could. I think there's a universe where it could break that way. I don't know. This was one of the worst matches of Sami Zayn's career, literally dating back to the Quebec Indies. Like, he doesn't have many bad matches. I would say this was a bad match. Nobody really cared about it. Sami Zayn wins. Yet again, they're doing the story where Scarlett's trying to make Sami hit her man with a pipe because that would make him evil, I guess. I don't know. It's a kind of dumb, logically bad wrestling match.
And she just wants to see her man get smacked.
You are saucy today. Boris is working a little blue here on the A+ podcast / radio show. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was honestly, I think the worst match of the weekend was Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross here.
The fact, look, it doesn't surprise me that we're saying Karrion Kross, worst name in wrestling still, had the worst match of the weekend. And again, I know, like, it's just he leaves something to be desired in the ring. But to say Sami Zayn had it, like, that is crazy.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And it doesn't happen often and possibly will never happen again in his entire career. These guys don't have chemistry. It was a bad fit. And it's kind of that thing like they used to say about Sean Waltman and X-Pac. If you can have a bad match with him, you're in deep trouble. If you can have a bad match with Sami Zayn, something is fundamentally wrong. Something is off here. I do wonder if the stories of Karrion Kross's departure might be a little exaggerated. I don't necessarily think he's for sure gone from WWE based on this result. I just think I think Sami Zayn is going to be the one to win the world title at WrestleMania, possibly Seth Rollins' title, possibly Cody Rhodes' title, honestly, at WrestleMania. I think Sami Zayn is being kept at a relatively strong position because he's going to be a world champion sooner than later. So the L for Karrion Kross here doesn't tell me that much. But I don't know, because where's he going to go? AEW's not going to work. New Japan might work for this guy. What do you
Nowadays?
think?
New Japan? Maybe? Possibly?
Maybe.
TNA?
Nah.
I don't know.
TNA is just WWE. AAA is just WWE, though.
Yeah, agreed. That's the thing, right? So it's very weird. Very weird. All right. WWE Women's Championship. Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. Matt, WWE. Yeah. This is why WWE is WWE, regardless of all the bullshit. All the BS. My bad.
Bleep it. Cut that.
I ain't bleeping anything. It's internet radio. They did a fantastic job of hiding Jade Cargill's flaws.
Yeah.
They kept this match short. Jade Cargill didn't look horrible. Tiffany Stratton.
No, she looked good.
Yeah, she looked good. Tiffany Stratton, like, this is someone who 4 years ago was not even a wrestler and probably didn't even think or know what wrestling was about. And she was able to carry Jade Cargill through the match.
Such a good thing. They pointed that out on commentary too when she was walking down to the ring, but that's a great thing to keep in mind. 4 years ago, she had possibly never even seen wrestling, didn't know a wrist lock from a wristwatch, and now she's one of the best wrestlers in the game, honestly. Well, that might be a little strong, but Tiffany Stratton is awesome. You want to talk about aura, you want to talk about Riz. And yeah, this match was so much better than it had any right to be. Oh my God. This could have been a stinker. This easily could have been the worst match of the weekend. And I thought it was pretty good, honestly. It was them throwing bombs at each other. It was very short, I believe just a shade over 7 minutes, bell to bell. But I thought it was actually really good. A great showing by Jade Cargill. She needed this one. If she would have had a bad match and embarrassed herself like Karrion Kross did low-key, this could have been bad for Jade Cargill. But this is proof that you don't give up on this performer yet, that you need to ride it out with her and hope she improves more and more and more, because there is something really spectacular there. It's just going to take more time for Jade Cargill than it did for a Tiffany Stratton. But yeah, I thought this was quite strong, and the right person won. Tiffany Stratton retained her world title, was worried that was going on to Jade, but Tiffany won. She won clean, and I thought this was a good to great match, all things considered, honestly.
Agreed. Look, take this note, other wrestling companies. Not every match needs to be 40 minutes.
Absolutely. 7 minutes in and out. Perfect. Nice little bite-sized match. It left you wanting more, Boris. Very important in show business. Leave them wanting more. That virtue has been lost on almost every aspect of show business, but it's true to this day.
Agreed 100% there, my friend. All right, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Jelly Roll got quite the reaction. Jelly Roll didn't look horrible, didn't look great. But like you say, between other people and, Logan Paul and Bad Bunny, Jelly Roll didn't look too bad.
No, I mean, yeah. If Logan Paul and Bad Bunny are like 9 out of 10, like in terms of performance, and I don't know who's 1 out of 10. Steve-O.
There's I don't want to say the name, but he has the initials of L and T.
Yes, yeah, true, yeah. WrestleMania 11. Man, yeah. Okay,
or
so there are some bad examples and some good
Let's
examples.
use Kevin Federline. Let's use the less controversial person, Kevin Federline.
Okay, so yeah, Jelly Roll is he's probably better than old Kevin Federline, the former Mr. Britney Spears. This was okay. The highlight of this match was Logan Paul's amazing frog splash onto Jelly Roll from the top rope outside through a table. That will be a legendary highlight. Honestly, that was a crazy bump for Jelly Roll to take. That probably really hurt Logan Paul. A crazy bump for him to take. Obviously, he's a great athlete who's done a lot of that stuff. I mean, I don't want to praise Logan Paul too much for obvious reasons. Hopefully it's obvious to you out there. If not, again, feel free to hit me up, DM me, I'll tell you why. But he could be a legendary professional wrestler if he sticks with it. He's a poor man's Will Ospreay. That's always been his game. The poor man's the WWE sanitized version of Will Ospreay. And he's not losing a step in the ring. He's still incredibly athletic and once a match does a jaw-dropping athletic feat. But yeah, this whole match was the only thing I will remember from this match is that crazy splash from the outside through the table. But I'll remember that for a long time.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? This match was exactly what it was supposed to be. The right people won, in my opinion, especially a match like this. It was kind of cool to see Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul get the W. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
At the end of the day, they're going to be there longer. Drew McIntyre and probably Logan Paul will be in WWE for years and years and years, and Jelly Roll will not, and Randy Orton at this point, he doesn't have that much time left. I do think Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul defeat Jelly Roll and Randy Orton 17-ish minutes. That was the right decision. I agree.
All right, my friend, let us go to the main event of night one for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther, your champion, versus CM Punk. Matt, outside of probably the dog collar match, this might have been my favorite CM Punk match since his return in 2019.
Interesting. I think it's probably pretty accurate. Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre was awesome. Dog Collar with MJF was awesome. This is right up there. This is his best regular 1v1 match. I think this was the best match of the weekend, including some of the crazier stuff we're going to talk about on the next show. This was my favorite match of the weekend. This was like the old school NWA 1980s or even 70s feel to this match until the shenanigans afterwards. 30 minutes and 19 seconds. Basically 90% of that is Gunther beating the bejesus out of young Phillip Brooks. And then CM Punk gets him due to Gunther's hubris. Gunther beat himself in kayfabe by showboating, by hot dogging and grandstanding, Boris. By God, CM Punk with guile beats Gunther, scales the mountain, and then the real MVP of night one, John Pollock, he comes through in the clutch, cashes in his money in the bank. New world champion John Pollock. Follow Post Wrestling.
Oh, what a match this was. It was a great match, man. But you know what? Here's the thing. Gunther, who slaps another man's thighs? Like, Gunther was just eviscerating CM Punk's. Like, poor guy took an ass kicking.
Ass chopping, literally, almost. Yeah, he was chopping his thighs, chopping his back. Gunther was just going to town, chopping like a young Vince. Was it Vince the slap chop? Not McMahon, the slap chop ShamWow guy.
Yeah, is it Vince? I don't know.
Something. Who cares? I think that guy would probably
sponsor.
fit in with the current with the current regime if some of his allegations are to be believed. Anyway, Boris. So yeah, CM Punk does beat Gunther, does scale the mountain, and holds the title for 5 minutes because Seth Rollins comes in and cashes in his Money in the Bank. Yeah, if you're going to be mad about this, if you're going to be mad at John Pollock and Dave Meltzer, I guess I understand, but I think that's your fault. I think it's on you. Stop listening to these podcasts. Stop following these things online. Don't go to the places where this information is posted and discussed if you don't want the information. Like, don't go walk out in the rain if you don't want to be wet. You know what I mean? Like, you can avoid this stuff. I know plenty of wrestling fans don't read post-wrestling, don't know who Dave Meltzer is, and they were pretty shocked probably by this.
Yep. That's the thing. That's the thing that we have to remember, right? Like, not everyone listens to this show. Not everyone listens to or reads the dirt sheets, as they like to call it, and all that fun stuff, right? Like, it just came as a total shock to so many people. And that's ultimately who you want to gear these shows towards, right? And at the end of the day, WWE got the reaction that they wanted. They got the surprise. They did it. They were able to do it. And then even in kayfabe, you have Adam Pearce angry at Seth Rollins. So we'll see what happens we'll see what happens moving forward. But yeah, crazy things. We kind of called this even before the Seth Rollins injury. We kind of called this to a certain extent, right? And let's see what happens. Here's my question to you, Matt. Do you think the big payoff is for CM Punk to get the title back, or is this going somewhere else?
I think so, because especially with Rollins involved with Heyman and stuff, that's a natural foil for Punk for the rest of his career, is to be opposed to Paul Heyman. It feels like Punk is getting this title back eventually. I do think that'll probably be main event of night one of WrestleMania if both guys are healthy. Punk versus Rollins in some kind of stipulation. Perhaps CM Punk puts his career on the line. And that could be like, is Punk retiring? Like, maybe kind of float some stories out there. Tell John Pollock that Punk is retiring, except he won't actually. But this was the polar opposite of the ladder match on night 2. Very slow, very deliberate, very, like I said, like an NWA style, a technical, hard-hitting match. More of an intellectual slugfest, I think I would call it. It was a thinker. You know what I mean? This was, like, if you want to say the ladder match or something like that is like an action movie, that's like Triple X starring Vin Diesel, just mindless, crazy fun and explosions and just craziness. This was like a wrestling tragedy. This was like Manchester by the Sea starring Casey Affleck, and CM Punk was Affleck, and his house got burnt down, by God, and he lost his baby. In this case, the world title.
Yep. Crazy end to night one, to say the least. Again, I know that they got a lot of people, and at the end of the day, if you were entertained, that's all that matters. But yeah, very interesting, very straightforward night one. Nothing earth shattering. I think that they bookended this with some good matches and good maybe good story. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and all of them. But overall, night one, good. Let us move on to night number 2.
Quickly,
yes.
Just sorry to interrupt, but it looked like Braun Breaker got hurt in that match a little bit. He was limping big time. His knee was heavily wrapped at the end of that match when he came back out with Seth and Paul and Bronson to celebrate their new heist of the world title. So we hope that Braun Breaker is healthy. He won't miss time. Looked like he got a little bit of a knee injury. We have not heard any reports that he tore an ACL or anything serious. So let's hope it was just kind of a little tweak, just one of those things, and he's back healthy and on Raw tonight.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Lee. It's Tuesday. What are you talking about? Well, it already happened. You gotta go back to
Raw
Netflix
last
and rewatch it.
Yeah. Let's hope we saw lots of Braun last night.
Night 2 in New Jersey. Let us get started right away with a triple threat women's match. Naomi, your champion, versus Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. Man, anyone who says anything bad about Naomi, shut up right away. Naomi is having the run of her life right now. Yeah, maybe Rio and Io helped her have a great match, but this is so good.
Put out the caution tape because Boris is coming for you. It was one of those things where I think we're far past this in kayfabe, but it's like not the kind of thing you really need to worry about in 2025. But I'm sure some fans were like, why are we seeing this really nice moment between Naomi and her dad, who's playing her to ringside? It was like a really beautiful, loving moment, and it was nice to see it. But it's not really something a heel does traditionally in the wrestling business. I don't really care about that stuff that much, but I feel like it was worth noting. Maybe some people noted it.
I was sorry for interrupting. Dude, if I was a heel, I would bring my entire family. I would, oh man, I would have them all just doing everything. Like, I love, like, okay, maybe the way that it happened wasn't ideal, but, you know, nepotism, hell of a thing, hell of a heel move.
I agree. Well, we all remember the biggest heel in the NBA over the last 10 years, LeVar Ball.
Exactly.
Annoying daddy's girl could be an interesting character, although I don't think that's exactly what Naomi's been driving at lately. But anyway, all of that aside, really good match. Good performance by Naomi. Io Sky and Rhea Ripley remain two of the best wrestlers, male or female, on the planet. I like the story of Rhea finally having Io Sky dead to rights, defeated 1, 2, and then Naomi rolls up Rhea and beats her and steals her own title in the triple threat match. I thought that was pretty clever little finish to what I would call a great match, great opener. The right person won. Crowd was loving it. Starting with Rhea Ripley's entrance, starting night 2 with Rhea Ripley, great decision, just like starting night 1 with Roman Reigns, although I don't think that was a great decision. But there was this similar thinking. It was the same move in the playbook, and I liked it way better this time around. I thought this was started the night off well. No complaints on my part. 16 minutes and 21 seconds I have here. Naomi pins Rhea Ripley to retain her title.
I have 16 minutes and 23 seconds, so I'm just saying.
Oh.
Right. Rhea Ripley, do you think she's going to go heel? Real quick.
No. In the same way that I think it was a mistake to turn Cody Rhodes heel, and they did not do that, I think it would be a mistake to turn Rhea Ripley heel. There is simply too much meat on the bone. The crowd wants to cheer for her. They want to make her the big number 1 conquering babyface. Until that tide starts to turn, until the people start to turn on her a little bit, no reason to turn her. It's like turning Hulk Hogan in 1988 versus turning Hulk Hogan in 1993. Do you know what I mean? Or 96 when WCW actually did it. But if WWE would have turned Hogan heel in the 80s, that would have been a huge mistake. If they would have done so in the early 90s, it would have made more sense. Right now, we're in the 1980s with Rhea Ripley. Let her cook. Let this lady cook.
Wyatt 6 versus Andrade and Rey Fenix versus DIY versus Fraxium versus Motor City Machine Guns versus the Street Profits. 6-pack tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. That was maybe the longest intro of a match I've ever said. Holy shit. I love this match, Matt. Love this match. Great spots. Candice LeRae was the MVP of this match.
Yeah.
Way too many people. Way too many people.
Yeah, a crazy bump with Candice. I was worried she might have broken her arm or something.
Right?
It looked like she came down with all her weight off of a giant ladder out of the ring through a wooden ladder set up across like a ladder bridge like you've seen a number of times. But it looked like she landed with all her weight on her arm and her forearm, and I was just like, oh my goodness. But she seems like she's okay. A mindless, wild spot fest of a match, but a spectacular one. Truly spectacular. Unique match. A lot of these ladder matches are kind of tribute acts to the old ladder matches, to the Hardys and the Dudleys. and Edge and Christian. And some of the matches are just like they try a little too hard to be like the CM Punk versus Gunther of ladder match. And we're going to do like a slow, thought out ladder match. And you can't really do that these days. The bar has been, raised so much. The ante has been upped so much that you kind of got to try to go out there and steal the show. And they really did. One of the craziest spots I've ever seen in a ladder match was Tommaso Ciampa hanging off the belts. Nathan Fraser goes to spear him, Edge Jeff Hardy style, and Ciampa does like a full chin up, like scales the scales into the ring, the cat skins the cat into the like straight up onto the belts. That was just absolutely crazy. Some wild stunts in this match, just mindless fun, but a lot of fun.
Tons of people just dropping off ladders. This match was so well done. I really like this. I like the fact that the Wyatt Sick, they were able to retain, because this again feels like a rehab project for WWE. And so I'm happy that they were able to retain. The crowd booed them. I think that was intentional. Everyone had a great match. Like just kudos to all 13 individuals who were in this match. Candice LeRae.
Yeah, and a lot of the Wyatt Six were doing things too. But yeah, I'm counting Candice as one of the 12, so it is a 13. Shout out to all 13 performers. Just wild, great stuff. This was I would say this is probably my second favorite match of the weekend. Only CM Punk and Gunther I would put just slightly ahead of it, and they are two wildly different wrestling matches. And this one might be more up your alley. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff here.
Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch, who had some new music, versus Lyra Valkyria. No DQs, no countouts. Last chance for Lyra Valkyria. This match, 25 minutes.
Oof.
Matt, it was long, but it was good. Lyra continues to impress. Becky Lynch continues to prove that she should be in the position that she's in.
Yep. They tried to go like slower paced, more brutal type of match. They really wanted this to be like a physical war, and they beat each other up real bad. Becky did a couple things to Lyra that should be illegal in this match. She beat her up real good. Becky Lynch does inevitably get the win over Lyra Valkyria.
With help of Bayley.
It looks like with the accidental help of Bayley, it looks like. And that's for sure. I think we're pivoting now to Lyra versus Bayley is going to be a feud for the rest of the year, heading into Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. I'm wondering if Becky Lynch pivots to Nikki Bella now, because Nikki Bella no longer has something to do with Liv Morgan. I wonder who Becky Lynch is going to be paired up with in the coming weeks and months. But yeah, this was a match that I felt the 25 minutes. It went a little long for me. Having said that, it was good. It was brutal. I think they achieved what they set out to do. They were put in a really tough spot after this ladder match. Like, it was like a follow that, ladies, and I don't know if they could. But it was still good. It was still good.
But this was the issue, right? Okay, yeah, so they didn't live up to the ladder match, but this match was still good. So I actually felt even worse for the next match, which was Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, a steel cage match for the U.S. Championship match. This match was okay at best.
Yeah, they did the cop-out, the steel cage cop-out, where the promise of a steel cage match is that there will be no interference. It's going to be one-on-one. And then they do a ton of interference in the steel cage match. Solo Sikoa wins, the second worst match on the show on the weekend. The only thing that was worse was Carry On versus Sammy. This was bad. Solo Sikoa won, shouldn't have. Nobody wants this feud to continue. The match you had one job in a steel cage match. You didn't do it. I get that that's kind of a wrestling trope in and of itself, the subversion of the expectation of the cage match. But I hate when they do that. I think most fans hate when they do that. This was a waste of my time, and this could have been cut from the show.
Agreed 100%. And that's all I've got to say about that. The next match for the Men's Intercontinental Championship, Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles. Matt, Dominic Mysterio is turning into one of the best performers in the company.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, in terms of his charisma, his projection, he's almost like a Karrion Kross in that the worst thing about him is his wrestling bell to bell, but that's probably better than Kross's at this point, honestly. And AJ was a riot in this match, coming out with the Eddie Guerrero presentation, the lowrider, and the old lightning bolt Eddie Guerrero tights. I really liked AJ's vibe here in this match. I thought him and Dominic had some pretty nice chemistry. We both predicted that AJ would win this match because we thought Dominic would go to AAA without a title and then win the Mega Championship on the AAA show. So I wonder if he's going to be Dirty Dom 2 belts, or is he not winning that match?
I said he's going to be Dirty Dom 2 belts. He's going to have both belts by August 17th.
You're right. You're right. I apologize, Boris. You're right. I said I thought AJ Styles was winning. You disagreed, and it seems like you were correct. Dang, I think I owe you a beer, actually, over this match.
That was the match. That was the match where we called it for a beer.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Next time we go to the pizza parlor near us, you're getting me a beer.
Yeah.
Not saying the name, because they're not a sponsor.
No free plugs.
No free plugs.
Pizza-based plugs. No free pizza plugs on this program.
But this match was great. I love the just the various odes to Eddie. Even when the calf crusher was on and the boot comes off, like, man, he just reminded me. Brings a tear to my eye sometimes.
Yeah, shout out to the old Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero 1 foot spot, one foot unshoed spot. Yeah, Dominic wins a very entertaining match, and I think Dominic is really figuring it out. And he's already got the stuff you can't teach. He's already got the instincts, the heel persona, and the crowd likes him more and more. They were chanting the soccer style, dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom. He's becoming a babyface in front of our eyes, but he's such a good heel. But that's the type of thing that I was talking about with Rhea and with, certain other performers. You turn them when the crowd tells you it's time to turn them. The crowd is starting to tell us it's time to turn Dominic Mysterio. They're starting to go that way. And I think Dominic Mysterio is going to be a huge babyface very soon.
Agreed. He's huge. He's going to be huge. He's going to be huge, especially in Mexico as AAA champion, August 16th. WWE's YouTube.
Let's go.
Watch it. All right, the next match. Oh, WWE, why do you do this shit to us? John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, street fight for the undisputed WWE Championship for months and months and months. Matt, I had a whole speech ready saying I told everyone months ago that Cody Rhodes was turning heel. But someone did turn heel. The entire company went heel by the end of this match.
That's funny. WWE itself went heel.
Look, if stuff like that is going to happen, you gotta just have fun with it.
Absolutely. But yeah, 37 minutes and 42 seconds. I've seen criticism of this match. Well, it was just finisher spam. It was a lot of finisher spam. I think there was literally like 15 finishers kicked out of in this between the Crossroads and the AA off the top rope, AA off the top rope through a table. So many shenanigans. But there were some like literally iconic moments, like moments that will be referenced and talked about for decades in professional wrestling. John Cena rising through the stage on the Cody Vader with Cody's carcass on his shoulders, coming up through the stage on the Cody Vader and then hitting a an AA on the ramp. That's going to be shown for generations in WWE. This was John Cena's best match in forever and a day. It was Cody's best match in a long time. This was great. Great. Full stop. It was WWE style. It was the definition of the main event style of WWE, but it was a really good example of that. And though it went 37 minutes, I was hooked the entire time. Didn't look at my phone once. Didn't leave the room once. They got me. They won me over. It sucks that Brock Lesnar came out at the end of this, and now we're going to get a heel Brock Lesnar run. Nobody asked for that. I don't think many fans want it. But this match itself, from bell to bell, was spectacular. It was exactly what it needed to be. It was Cody Rhodes, the babyface, versus John Cena, the babyface, and it was an amazing example of a babyface versus babyface match.
Oh, beautifully said, Matt. Really well said. You hit the nail on the head with everything that you said, and I will add nothing to it. That was WWE SummerSlam 2-night spectacular. Overall, Matt, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up, thumbs way up. If I had to say, maybe you could talk me into a thumbs down for night one, but for the entire package, thumbs way up. Certainly night two, easy thumbs up. Though they left a sour taste in my mouth, as we've said a number of times. I think if you just look at what they did, and like if you're going to stop watching WWE because of this, I think you went out with a bang. I think you went out on a really good note. Think of the positives, and go fill your days with something else.
Here, at the end of the day, if Brock Lesnar is a one and done with John Cena while still angry, that will probably be the best outcome to all of this. Okay, let us turn to you, the listener. Thank you so much for leaving all of your feedback throughout the entire weekend. Best place for that is by going to facebook.com and searching for the group A Plus Wrestling. And I've been so into this show that I forgot to say you are listening to A Plus Wrestling here on KPHR. All right, let us start here. So Scott Alderson said, "I'm still on the loss of Hulkamania." We're sorry for that. Not the noise, not the comment. Scott Ainsworth. Everyone loves Scott Ainsworth. He says, conflicting week in wrestling. Hogan passing is still losing a legend, but Terry as a man was an ordinary human. Due to the go-home shows, it didn't feel like they were trying to entice people to watch the big shows and felt almost boring. SummerSlam Night 1 was a safe, almost predictable night of tag matches and singles title matches right up until the main event. That was epic. And the cash-in, while not unsurprising, still made me pop. Night 2 was just carnage, with just about every match being, but it's no DQ, Wade, or an obviously gaudy performance tribute to Eddie Guerrero. The main event moved well, but how can you hit someone in the head 3 times with a turnbuckle and no blood? Lesnar, I wasn't expecting. I thought The Rock would have come out, but Lesnar is also someone who has a lot of baggage as a human. So yes, a conflicting week for wrestling.
Yeah, very much. I think it was Blaine, our good friend, valued listener, Blaine Vandergrind, who pointed out that there should have been blood probably in the Becky versus Lyra match. There could have been blood in like 6 or 7 of these matches, and it probably would have helped. I think the only blood we got on the entire 2 nights was Gunther. Of all people, bleeding during the CM Punk match, right?
And if that was legit, right? Like that was like he clocked himself good.
I think it was a blade job, but he certainly was bleeding hardcore. It wasn't a little trickler, as they say. It was like a 2 out of 10 on the Muda scale, or a 3 out of 10. But it was on the Muda scale. It registered on the scale.
Speaking of Blaine, this is what he had to say. Well, I think everybody wants to address the elephant in the room except for WWE, who prefers to sweep it under the rug like they do everything else, but let's start there. I can't imagine the amount of whiteboards, calculations, or pro and con scales that it would take to sum up what kind of business decision this is. Personally, I don't think it's a good one. Sure, they might see some short-term profit, but at what cost? And I can only imagine what the overall morale in the locker room must be right now, especially among the female talent. It's a damn shame that after a really good second night of SummerSlam, that this is the takeaway. For those fans of Fresh Prince, it's like the episode where Will's deadbeat dad comes back into the picture and acts like nothing happened. It totally gives off the same vibe as a Montreal Screwjob in a way, and I can see some WWE talent just waiting out their contracts or just being unmotivated to perform, especially the women. That said, though I wouldn't blame anyone who stops watching from now on, I also don't think it's fair to the rest of the talent who work their asses off every week to boycott the product as a whole, but that's up to the individual. For those who choose to stop watching, more power to you. I won't judge, but also expect no judgment from those against people who choose to continue. Though, with wrestling fans, that's a tall order. Matt, I never thought I would say this, but I wholeheartedly agree with Blaine on this one.
We've agreed with Blaine here and there.
No, wholeheartedly.
Fully, 100%. I'm definitely looking at Triple H right now like, why don't he love me, man? Yeah. To continue the Fresh Prince analogy. No, like, he's right. And like, if you want to, I mean, this is the thing. if this is where you draw the line with WWE right now in the year of our Lord 2025, I understand, but we've probably had to ignore worse to be WWE fans than a graphic with Donald Trump and Brock Lesnar coming down to the ring. So I get what Blaine's saying there. Yeah, no judgment if you continue, no judgment if you stop. But yeah, if you feel like you're sacrificing your morals to watch Monday Night Raw, then maybe you should stop. And I kind of think that's how I feel at this exact moment. So maybe I'll personally stop. But I do agree with Blaine, and the Fresh Prince thing made me smile. Shout out to Blaine. Good work,
Yorkie. Ever since Vince was removed from power, WWE has been doing such a great job, and this past weekend they've given the middle finger to everyone and shouted F you. Fair statement. Like, people feel very strongly one way or another, and again, you just have to respect people's opinions on this. Jay Lambier says controversial legend dies, controversial banned wrestler comes back. What's there to think about? Does this mean Lesnar has been cleared of the accusations? Personally, I would have preferred Cody doing the heel turn as a shocking moment of SummerSlam, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Nobody would want that moment to be eclipsed, so I would assume Lesnar will occupy Cena's remaining days. But does Lesnar walk off with Cena into the sunset, or is Lesnar here to stay? I don't really know where someone like Lesnar, despite the controversy, would fit in on the roster after Cena's retirement. I don't think he's here for a long time. I legitimately do think it is a one and done. Jake Eleanor says, all the lawsuit stuff aside, Lesnar in WWE in 2025 doesn't entice me at all. What else does he need to do? It's just the same old shtick. Get by Cena and just please go away forever.
Okay. I kind of agree with that. With Lesnar, I could see him because Cena wanted to work with Punk. He wanted to work with Orton. He wanted to work with some of his old guards, some of his old pals. And he's gotten to do that. I think Lesnar was probably on that list, wanted to work with Brock one last time. A couple years ago, the talk was that Lesnar was going to face Gunther at WrestleMania. I could see that happening. Maybe it's a two and done for Brock, and it's Cena, and it's Gunther, and then he's gone for good. But I don't think that it's just going to be one match against John Cena. I think he's going to stick around for a little longer, although once they do the Gunther match, that might be it. It might only be two. It might be two or three. It might be three or four stretched across those two feuds. But I bet you they have Gunther beat Brock Lesnar, just like he beat Goldberg, to fully tell the story that this is the new monster. This is the new big bad that you have to worry about. If you're a wrestler, if you're a wrestling fan, he's the one you need to keep your eye on. I do think Gunther's going to beat Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's probably going to beat John Cena.
There you go. I do agree with that, actually. That's kind of cool, and what a place for Gunther to be, where he takes out both Goldberg and Lesnar. Boom, there you go. We've had an awesome time, Matt. A pleasure. Even when things seem like dark and gloomy, chatting with you, you were able to power through, and we'll figure out what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be covering WWE. Obviously, we're always going to be covering WWE in some shape, way, or form. But you know me, we're going to be honest about things. You've been listening to A Plus Wrestling here on KPHR. Just remember, you can find us on any podcasting platform as A Plus Productions or A Plus Wrestling. We're also on all of the social medias at aplusproductions.com. Matt, real quick, where can they find you?
Find me on Instagram at Matthew Ederer, or if you're in the city of Toronto, been hosting some open mics, been doing some stand-up sets, you can hit me up. But yeah, this coming Wednesday, we'll be hosting an open mic at Salto Antipasto Restaurant in Toronto. It's always a good time. Thank you for asking, Boris. And yeah, we'll figure it out. We have a great team here, and we have so many people in the city of Toronto who do love wrestling, who will be able to talk some WWE, if it's not always me and you doing WWE discussion. We love this platform, and we love our listeners, and thank you all very much for sticking with us. And yeah, man, it's I think we did a good job here, buddy.
On behalf of
good job by you, homie.
On behalf of the entire A Plus production teams, thank you so much for listening, but most importantly, stay tranquilo.